Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to another episode of the Seven Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph, and today I have with me some Airbnb hosts and super hosts to speak about the life of hosting. I'm a, my, I myself have hosted in the past before, so this will be interesting. I'm going to be quiet and let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get into it.
Hi, I'm Sheila Cruz, and I am a super host with Airbnb.
Where you from?
And
Oh, okay. I'm from originally the Bronx, New York. However, my Airbnb is in Brooklyn, New York. So,
Bronx. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
my name is Kathy. I'm also an Airbnb host as well.
Where you from?
I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. Actually, I was born in DR, came to the
Okay.
States when I was 5. So I was
Mhm.
raised in Maryland, the DMV area. So I've been here since then.
Okay. I just came from DR for my birthday. I turned 30 last month, so that was pretty dope.
milestone.
Right. I try to travel every chance I get, but that was definitely a great trip. Um, so like, how long have y'all been doing hosting?
So I started back in December 2019. And that was like the rough patch. That was me transitioning from Jacksonville, Florida, back up here. And yeah, I was like, I'm gonna do something where I can basically not pay rent. And that's honestly how it's been since I started Airbnb. So 2019.
Right before COVID.
I started last July 2021.
Yeah.
Yep. I started July 2021, so I haven't even reached a year yet.
I was like, so you like, I won't say you're new to it, but like, you got your feet wet.
Yeah, it's definitely it's been a process. I was able to scale pretty quickly, so I learned a lot in a very short amount of time, but I'm thankful.
I feel like Airbnb is like a thing you learn as you go, because like you end up figuring out what like not to do when like a certain like guest does something, be like, all right, I'm not doing that again. And then you end up changing the way you do things like a check-in process and all of that stuff. So like how's hosting been for you guys?
Yeah, Kathy, you can start us off.
Okay. um it's been good. It's been good. Definitely has had some challenges, but overall, I think what people need to know more than anything, in order to be a good host, you have to be in the hospitality business. Like you have to be hospitable. And so I feel like the wave right now is like people are getting into short-term rentals because it's like that, people want to make money, but like
Mhm.
outside of making the money, it's a lot of communicating with people, really being like hospitable, really being able to sometimes be flexible or just, really giving people a quality experience. And I think that's where people get tripped up because if you're not that person, if that's not in you, like it's going to be difficult for you to do it for,
Facts.
long term or like to be able to do, more than one property. Because it is a lot of like managing and juggling different personalities, different people, and still giving them all like a
Mhm.
quality experience.
Facts.
Yeah, I think I would definitely echo that. And I think it's like similar to like a Uber like ride, right? You know, you have some guests that want to talk. You have some guests that just want to get in the car and go. And I feel like with Airbnb, it also fluctuates like that because I have guests that just want to check in and I don't hear from them again and I get a 5 star. And then I have guests that want to ask me questions like where to go, who to meet, da, 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 and they want a little bit more attention. So I think it definitely varies, but I would echo you have to be hospitable. You have to be. I I'm happy that I'm extroverted because like I just connect with guests really well. And a lot of mine I don't meet, but some I have met. And they're pretty dope people and great experience so far. Cross
Okay.
fingers.
Well, for me, I'm an introvert, but like you said, it's a hospitable field, and you have to be a people person. Even though I'm an introvert, I feel like I still connect with people good, and like that goes along with being able to feel people out, knowing what they like, whether they like to talk or whether they like to be like don't want to answer any questions or anything. But like since I'm an introvert, I definitely made the check-in process as easy as possible where I don't see the person. Like I had a lockbox outside. I gave him the instructions to open the lockbox, where to go, how to get there, all that stuff. So like 90% of the time I didn't even have to see the guest. So um how's you guys on check-in process like?
The same. I have well, for me, two of my properties are actually in Houston. So I don't even live in Houston. So I have to have contactless you know,
Mm-hmm.
entry. And then one of them is up here, but it's in Baltimore, and I live maybe like 30, 35 minutes away from Baltimore, and I'm not trying to be up there. I'm a school teacher by the day. I'm a school teacher
Mm-hmm.
during the week. So I got two kids. Like, I want to be as hands off as possible.
Uh-huh.
So all of my entries are pretty much contactless. Like, I'm not really meeting any of my guests. I'll see them on the ring. They'll wave to me on the ring or whatever. Um, but I won't see any of them. But just kind of like what you all mentioned, I just kind of flow with however the guest is flowing. Like, if you're a talker, I'm gonna talk. If you're not a talker, I'm gonna leave you alone. Like, I'm gonna flow however you flow, right? I'm gonna give you
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that you're looking to
Basically.
give. But there are some people who require a lot, and like, especially for those short stays, and that really like gets to me. So I'm like, you only staying for one night. Just be, just do what you gotta
Mm-hmm.
do and go,
Yeah.
Right.
But there's some people who are like that, like naturally, right? In life, there's people who are just very particular, just very like small detail. They just like every detail needs to be like completely spelled out, even if you have given them the most like detailed entry. They still want to call and be like, hey, did I do it like this? And they just want you like to hold their hand a little bit more. And so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I try as much as possible for all of mine are like contactless entry. Like, do your thing, do what you got to do, handle your business. But it does not fail though. As much
Mm-hmm.
as I change the details to make it even more specific, I'm gonna be even more specific so that they don't have to reach out to me. They still reach out to me, and so you just have to expect. Like, you still have to expect. Like, some people are gonna need that. Other people can do the whole entire pick up the key, drop off the key, and not ever reach out to you. And other people like need it like you to go step by step again. So you just gotta be
Facts.
flexible.
Facts. And that goes into like I was saying, like you learn as you go with each guest, you learn something new. Like, yeah, I'm gonna change this to tweak it a little bit to make it a better experience. So like, my bad, Sheila. You good.
Oh, you're good. First of all, shout out to the educators. I'm an educator as well.
Yay!
I'm
Okay.
a third grade teacher and an ABA specialist. I go to camp.
Yay!
Damn.
I'm a fourth grade teacher, Sheila.
All right, we outside. No, literally, really soon we are. But back to
Girl,
Air.
not me. Not me. They have me
No,
till June.
yeah, I don't got no kids. So I'm yes. But yeah, definitely in the so I think one of the biggest differences is my Airbnb is also my apartment. So in the beginning, I was very big on meeting my guests. It was also fresh, so I was new to it. I want to see who's staying. I want to see who they are. Excuse me. But now it is, I think, 98% self check-in, and I have my lockbox. I have one that you're able to change the combination each time because of safety. And that's a big thing because you just never know in this world.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it definitely works out and it's really easy flowing. I write like which door because I have like silver keys, so I put like a D on top of it so that I don't get those questions like which
Mm-hmm.
key is it? Nope, it's the one with a D. It's a one
Yeah.
with D. But yeah, so pretty simplistic the check-in process.
Okay. Yeah. When I did Airbnb, it was I lived there as well. So like I said, I try to make it as much as possible where I don't see them, but eventually, obviously I'm gonna see them because I live there. I had a 2 bed, 2 bath, and I had some interesting guests. Like I had one that he was a chef. He was just staying there for school, and he would cook me dinner every night. And he was really good. Like his food was like so good.
He was
Like
really good because he cooked
that's
you dinner.
crazy. His food was really good though. Like he did like a steak where like he reverse seared it, and then like there was one where he like put the steak in the iron cast skillet and like put some like broth over it and like made like a gravy over it where like the gravy trapped in the heat inside the gravy or whatever, and like it cooked the steak in there. And no, it wasn't steak, it was chicken. It cooked the chicken, and like the chicken became so like tender and it was so good. Like it was crazy. I could talk about food all day, but yeah, that
Now
was
I'm
crazy.
waiting to eat.
You were his test subject, Joseph. You were his test subject. You survived, so he good.
Hey, I was eating everything. Like I'm not a picky eater, but like he did like this buffalo ranch, this buffalo chicken ranch thing. It was so good. But anyways,
Digress.
um, I know you guys do like the self check-in, right? So like, let's say how often do you guys like monitor your own check-ins? Like I know when people book, you could put like one or two guests. I myself, I'm not even gonna lie, I put one guest all the time, and if I have to have a second guest, I just bring them. And I'm not sure how to you guys monitor that. Like I know the self check-in, you don't meet the person, so like do you guys charge extra for an extra person? And then like how does that go for you guys?
Yeah. I charge $20 after each additional person after two people. So I definitely monitor. I allow up to 10 people because like often because my living room is so spacious, I get a lot of like birthday parties or friendsgivings and stuff like that. So and that has been so lucrative. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely plug it on that if you want to think about Airbnb. Um, and then so I charge it $20 per additional person. And what I have is I have a camera, so I can see who's coming in and out, and monitor that way. And I think that's a great investment. Amazon, it was about $56.
Mm-hmm.
Best investment because you see who's coming in regardless. And yeah, somebody I've never had a guest like not say like two guests and try to bring like eight guests, but if
Mm-hmm.
they did, you can also monitor that. So,
Yeah.
but I definitely charge extra.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it depends. It depends. Uh, because it seems so let me just be very honest because some of my units are in Houston, and Houston has become like the new destination for black people.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
like the new Atlanta. And
Yep.
so a lot of a lot of people travel into Houston, and I try not to be nosy. I try not to like look at my camera unless it's like going off. Like if it's going off, I'm like, okay, how many times you gonna enter and leave the apartment, right? Because it's only going off if it's a whole bunch of movement. So if it's going off, sometimes I'll see like somebody has picked up somebody. I'm like, oh, it's about to be one of them nights. And I could charge you, right? Because you're having somebody sleep over who was not on the original reservation.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Sheila, you're very generous because I charge $50 to $75 after the person who's not. If you're not on the reservation, I can charge you a whole night, the whole night stay. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
So it just so it depends. Depends really like for me, it depends on the level of communication I've had with the person. You know what I mean? Because there's some people who will be very honest with you, like, hey, I have a friend who I know in town that's gonna come, they're gonna chill for a little bit, but they're not gonna stay. Like there's the people who would just let you know what's going on. But other people like this one girl had her whole like entire like Hispanic family come, and I was like, wait a minute, where are these people going? Like, it was like a grandmother was there, like an auntie. It was like a whole bunch of them. It was during the rodeo time. It was during Houston's rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
So she booked it for 3 adults, but it was like 4 additional adults. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure I'm charging you $75 per adult who was not on the original reservation. Even if my place can hold 7 people, because you did not give me that, you didn't even tell me you were going to bring this many people. So at this point, I can charge you for each person that is now on your original reservation.
Were they able to pay that extra money?
Oh yeah, I just put it right through the little Airbnb requesting and put
Uh-huh.
why. These people were like, they were not on the original reservation. It's part of my house rules. Anybody who's not on the original reservation can be charged $50 to $75.
Yeah. Do you guys ever get worried about your reviews, but like charging extra, like last minute?
You wait until they give you a review first. There you go.
And you could do that. You could do that. You could charge extra
Yeah.
after the review. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You haven't closed it out yet. You haven't done your review. Once you do your review, it's done, right? So I usually try to wait anyway to do my review until after my cleaner has kind of like given me a rundown of how they left the condition of the property. Because what I don't want is anybody to become like irate in my property, right? I don't want you to mess up my stuff or steal my stuff. So I'll be real chill and like just mental note, like, okay, I'll send them a message like, please be mindful that anybody who's not staying on the original reservation can't sleep over. Boom, that's my warning. So if they say like nobody said nothing to them, like I can have that proof that like I said, hey, in my house rules it says blah 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 blah. But then I'll chill, like I won't say anything else. But when my cleaner comes back and gives me the rundown, like, oh, it's good, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, please make sure to leave a review. And they leave my review.
And I think it's so important, honestly, Kathy, because I'm thinking about like, honestly, what Airbnb support, you want to track everything. That is a big, especially when you're trying to get money or request money. If you have the Carfax, then you're good. But if you don't, there might be some push and pull, especially if the guest is not compliant. So definitely just saving yourself.
Yep, documentation. Put it in your house rules. Make sure you give them a warning, and just
for sure. Because like,
and do it on the platform too. Do it on the platform because a lot of times people want to carry conversations outside of the platform, but those type of conversations I'm gonna have right in the platform. I'm gonna have it right in the platform.
You gotta Johnny Depp them. Have the proof right there.
Right.
But like some people don't even read the house rules, and like me, sometimes I skip over the house rules because I just want to stay there, and there be some things I miss, and then I'll be upset that I didn't read it. So that's my fault. But
yeah, the house rules. I've seen some crazy house rules. Like there are hosts that are very, very strict, and like respect. You can be as strict as you want to be. It's your property. But then like as the consumer, right? I don't have to stay there. What happens though is when you do have people who don't read the house rules or who don't really take time to really figure out whose property they're about to stay with or what kind of people they are, what kind of host they are, then they come in and the host has a whole bunch of rules and now you're getting upset, but it's like it's in their rules. Whenever you book, you agreed. It's like, you agreed to their rules. So you gotta kind of like do as they say, right? And so I try not to like be too crazy, but there are some. I don't rent to kids, to people under 25. I said to kids.
Oh shit.
I don't. I try not to rent to a lot of young folk. No offense to young people out there that are trying to live their best life, but I just feel like most things can be prevented if I try to target an older group or more like established or more just more mature group. They might have to kick it, have their own fun, but they're not going to go crazy with it. Now, have I made exceptions? Yes. Like I've made exceptions with this girl who was coming in with her family, and she was like, "Please, it's just me and my cousins." And like again, like if you're open enough to let me know what's going on, I'm like, okay, well, these are my house rules. You guys think you guys can be able to handle it? And she's like, yeah, we can handle it. I let her stay, but usually I try to limit the people that are 25 and under, to be honest with you, as much as possible.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think going back to your original statement, Joseph, about that learning curve. In the beginning, I did rent to under 25, and it was like, nope, lesson learned. So now I also only rent to over 25, and if they're under 25, they have to have an adult that is over 30 years old. So that's just my caveat. But also, I was going to say another thing. So when it comes to me, I'll think about it.
I didn't even know you could monitor the ages of the people you rent to.
There we go. I remember. So what I do is, because I think I agree, like, a lot of people skim over, just like contracts. People don't read. So I think one of the things I do just to cause myself less headache is I just go over the most important things to me. For instance, I say like smoking's not allowed in the sense of cigarettes. You cannot smoke cigarettes. So I let them know that. I let them know like just like those things that I want to hone in on that are part of my house rules that are most salient. And I think that's important as a Airbnb host, just so that you alleviate all that unnecessary drama. Like don't do like when, oh, I got you. My house rule says this, so I got you. No, like let them know, like, listen, don't do this, you can do this. And ask those questions. I think one of the first questions I ask is, how old are you and your guest? And as soon as I get that age, I say whether I accept it or I don't. But unfortunately, I don't accept that age, or okay, cool, that works. Then I go to the next question, how many guests? Because that's a big thing. People will say that and then come with a whole bunch of like, no. So I think it's just being as like honest and communicate exactly what you want to see so that it's clear and cookie cutter.
Yeah. So y'all don't mess with the instant book.
I try not to as much as possible. Y'all can go to the hotel. They got more money to,
Yeah. Like,
y'all can go.
How long it was on the longest stay that you guys had? I had somebody stay for like a month. That was easy money right there. They paid off my whole month, like my mortgage. Like it was crazy.
Same. I had a nurse during COVID stay with me for a little over a month, and they got stipends, so it was very, very well compensated.
Yeah.
I had my longest stayed from October, actually, like 2 months after I had opened up the Baltimore one, to February. She checked in October 16th and left February 16th.
Damn.
Yeah, which was great though, because it was during like my down season. Like things was not really doing nothing in Baltimore during that time. Like I wasn't getting any inquiries, and she just kept rolling it over. She just kept doing 30-day increments. I said, yeah, sure, 30 days. Yeah, sure, 30 days.
Do you offer discounts the longer the stay?
Yeah, no. One, I gave a flat rate, but what I started doing is I did basically a short-term rental agreement also on top of that, because I just felt like I needed something more to protect myself, because anytime somebody stays in your place for more than 30 days, they can claim residency there in some states. And so we have, especially like tenant-friendly states, like Maryland is a tenant-friendly state. Houston is not, but still, if somebody's in your place for more than 30 days and they get mail sent to that location, they can say like, hey, I live here. And that's so I had them do an additional short-term rental lease agreement stating that this is not a long-term stay. This
ain't your house.
Right. Right. Like you cannot put things under your name. You can't get mail sent here. If you need mail sent somewhere, it should be sent to a PO box or Amazon locker, or like somewhere where UPS store, like you need to pick it up somewhere, but like you shouldn't be having things being sent to the apartment. And it's just like it's just an extra measure to protect myself, because I was new. One, like I had just started in July, and yeah, I wanted the money, but I also didn't want like some foolishness later. Like I didn't want to have to like fight in the court to get my property back after, and she kept wanting to extend it. I'm like, man, how long is she gonna do this for? Mind you, like at one point I was like, okay, I'm getting my coin, I'm getting my money. She's paying it on time. But after a while, I got kind of like worried, because I'm like, is she ever gonna leave though? Because this is an Airbnb property. But it definitely, I would say, like, to take extra precaution to do things right. Like, don't be so quick to just make the money. Like, a lot of people are pushing like 6 figures with Airbnb, and like, listen, that can be possible for you. I'm not saying that it can't be, but if you're only focused on your bottom line, your dollar. Basically, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have a case where someone got delusional or forgot that they had first got the property off of Airbnb. And so I just made sure that I covered myself by having, extra measures. I had her do a document, like, those those e-documents that she could sign, and I signed, and then she signed and then I signed, and get everything like in writing, because especially when you're taking things off the platform. Because after a while, she was like, because they have their fees. Airbnb has their fees that they take out. So she was like, "Do you think we could do this off the platform?" I said,
Right.
okay, let me send you my contract. Yeah, you just got to make sure you don't just like it's 30 days, it's a 30-day booking, let me just get this money. Like, no, like you need to make sure that you are covering yourself as much as possible, and that you're doing things the right way, so that later on you don't have issues with people forgetting that it was an Airbnb that they first rented from you from. So
yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to long terms and short terms. Like long terms, you don't gotta, well, I don't know how you do it. Like the cleaning up, and like you don't need to clean up so often. But like I feel like anything more than 30 days, I start getting worried. Like, do you have a place to stay, or like do you have the money for this, or like what's going on? Like, I'm tired of seeing your face first of all. But are you staying? Like all those questions come to my head. But like the longer the stay, I would say the worse it gets. But like the more like anxious you
it can
get.
be tricky, right? It can be
Yeah.
tricky, because if it's a down season, then you are securing that you're making your margin,
Exactly.
like your numbers, right? But if it's like the rodeo in Houston, like I don't want anybody long term in the rodeo in March, because I can I can raise my prices a little bit and really capitalize on the fact that the rodeo is all month long,
Definitely.
from end of February to March. So you just got to know, like, you just have to kind of know what's happening a little bit, and go from there.
Yeah, because definitely it's not always about the money. Because like even after 30 days, and I'm tired of seeing your face. I don't even care about the money. I'm tired of seeing you. You can go. Other than that,
yeah. And if they're not that clean,
yeah,
like
I hate that.
those things build up. So then you have to do a deep clean. So one thing I did learn is have your cleaner, if it's you or if you have a cleaner, to go there and do a cleaning just a little bit, like even if it's once a month or twice a month while they're there, because then you can kind of like see how they're keeping your place. You know what I mean? Like you could just check on things a little bit a little bit better. Because I had somebody who stole my coffee maker and swapped it out with a fake brand one. Wow. And I was like, "What? It's not even the same brand. Like you just took my coffee maker." But I didn't, I didn't know. I didn't know until like 3 guests in after the long-term stay, like a 30-day stay, and I'm like, "Wait, they just took my coffee maker." Like,
yeah. I definitely did that before when I had my mom. Like on the second week, I sent in my cleaner, and the guests love it. So that boosts your ratings, because they think, but it's really to do a check-in, like a post check, like, oh, okay, everything's good. To be honest,
like the all inclusive hotels, when they come knocking on your door to clean, take your towels and stuff, you're like, oh, that's nice. But in your mind, you're just having them check on things, but like they think they're being catered to.
Exactly. Listen.
But how does that go with like the cleaning fee? Like you say you send them there more than once, so like does that go into the cleaning fee as well, or like?
I just calculate that under like my cost. It's really, my cleaner is amazing. I had her for the entirety. Like I trust her with my life. And I definitely, like all of last year during COVID, I was just traveling because I'm a teacher. So I was remote. So I was all around the world, and she just held it down. But I think it's, when I count the pennies and I do the math, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to have that peace of mind and security, especially since, like I said, I'm living in the apartment when I'm not Airbnb in it. So yeah, it's worth it to me.
It's like having a property manager. Like so like the cleaner has access to the house, they clean up, but like they let's say they do all the maintenance and everything, but like they do the majority of the things that keep your mind at ease.
Oh yeah. No, this is, I consider Airbnb residual income, especially where I'm at in it, because I don't do anything. My cleaner does all the work. If anything, I am technically still doing, because I respond to it. Once I get somebody to take that over, then it's literally residual income. But yeah, I just can't clean up after people, so I definitely have a cleaner. That's just my thing. Other people can save money and do the cleaning. I just
Mm-hmm.
really like in the beginning I did it and I said, I can't do this. I
Yeah,
just
I
can't
used
do
to do it.
this. No, I just especially when a guest rose up or something like that. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I was too cheap to hire a cleaner. Not only that, I just didn't know the knowledge of hiring a cleaner and like adding in the cleaning cost and like stuff like that. But at the same time, like I said, I lived there, so I just did it.
Your cleaner is like your number one key player though. Like
Right.
Mm-hmm.
it's like if you're doing Airbnb and you're not trying to clean yourself, you have to really like that's your number one key player. Like my cleaner does runs. She'll
Mm-hmm.
tell me if I'm low on toilet tissue. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna send you this. Can you get it for me? It's like you know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
will take care of you if you take care of them.
Right.
And then you have to also like take into consideration like there are people who want to charge the cleaning fee whatever they charge like whatever they pay their cleaner. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. I charge a little bit more than what I pay my cleaner, like $25 to $30 more than what I pay my cleaner, because whatever that money, like whatever the $25 to $35 like leftover, I use that for when I have to restock the property or if I want to give her a tip. And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes people don't put that like I put my cleaning fee is $100. I give her
Mm-hmm.
75, I keep 25. Or I give her, 85 for a tip or whatever, and I keep the rest. Or she tells me, when I say I keep the rest, I mean I put it as a reserve. So when she says, "Hey, we're out of water, or we're out of snacks, or we're out of the little K cups, or we're out of this," I can pull from that and not have to come out of like my profit. That's part of like my expenses, just like Sheila said.
And you say you've been doing this since last year? Shit. Sound like sound like you've been doing it longer than that.
For me, I actually charge a flat rate of $50, which is below what my cleaner normally gets. However, my property cost is way higher than normal. Because I get about my property cost is about 250 to 300 a night, and that's only with two guests. So if you have
Wow.
so if you have additional guests, it easily goes up to 350, 450. So I go easy on the cleaning fee because the property I charge more.
Hmm. It's like the when you buy something off of Amazon, it's like $50 and free shipping. Like, yeah, I want that.
Yep,
Like you see
exactly.
some you see some with $45 and $5 shipping. Nah, I'm good.
Listen, you got to adhere to. It's funny because people really operate like that.
Yes, it's a mind
Um,
game.
yeah, it is. It is. But plus my place is the 21st century palace, so you get it up to date stuff. So it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you have prime real estate too, because I mean, New York is you're gonna get that top dollar for sure.
Is Airbnb easy in New York? Cause like I know I've been to New York for like just visiting and stuff like that, and like there's I know hotels are getting into Airbnb. It's like you book a Airbnb and you get a hotel room, but like there's not a lot of Airbnbs in New York. I think is it like something that they're just like starting to roll out more? Cause I know like Turo is not something that they allow in New York. Like New York
Mm-hmm.
be having their regulations, so.
Right. That's what I was about to hop into. With New York, you have to be very careful. Um, you cannot live in a class A building or a class B building. And what that basically means is you're next to like you cannot live where there's like a big mall. So if you ever been to like the Barclays Center in Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
like you
Mm-hmm.
cannot rent out any of those properties because those are considered class A buildings.
That's crazy.
Um, so I live in a class C building, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
covered under that stature.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's another one, you have to look at your clause of your lease. My lease says doesn't say anything against it, so I'm covered. However, majority of leases in New York City will say you cannot sublet, and
Mm-hmm.
like 30-day stays constitutes a subletting. But
Crazy.
some of them are even more specific where they say you can't Airbnb. So that you're right, that's where we're at. So it really, I came upon a gemstone to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was transitioning back from Jacksonville, so that's why it worked for me. But it's very difficult, just because there's just so much laws, and you have to be up to date with the laws because
Yeah. Definitely.
this goes back to your landlord or whoever, and that's legal, especially if you're making cake.
So many loopholes. They trying to keep your money away from you. Like they just like New Yorkers haters. That's why I prefer to not live in New York because they money hungry and they they expensive and money hungry. Like, give me $1.
Give me $1, man. I feel that. But you gotta listen. One thing I would say, New York breeds hustlers. So let's talk about that.
Hey, yeah, pretty much. Like um I was born in Chicago, but I was raised in New York, and like I just feel like I got that hustler mentality in me. So like I'm pretty sure Sheila feels the same. Like I'm doing, let's see, photography, stocks, podcasts. I have a book out. I do as many things as I can, but also keeping my sanity. The things I want to do, the things that I like to do, and like keeping my sanity, manage my time the way I want it to be. So like, so I'm saying that I might as well ask you guys, how do you manage your guys' time?
Well, my time is very busy. Um, so on top of Airbnb, my husband and I do Toro.
Mm-hmm.
We have 5 cars on Toro actually.
Woof.
And then we own property in Baltimore. We have 9 doors in Baltimore, 3
Yeah.
multi-units. We both work full time, and we have
Mm-hmm.
2 little girls. So yeah, my time is very limited. I also do ministry, and so my time is very limited. But the time in the kingdom is current. Like, currency in the kingdom is time, and so people think that they have a lot of time, or people don't think they have enough time. And it's like, we
Mm-hmm.
can always make excuses about time, but like, this is what we have, right? And so you just got to
Yeah.
figure out how to make the most of what is, like, what you have, like what gifting you have and what you can do. And so um my life is very like, do this is what I'm doing on Monday, this is what I'm doing on Tuesday, this is what I'm doing on Wednesday. It's very structured, but because I just don't have a lot of like flex time as much as I would like. Right now, we're hustling to get that going back to what you guys were saying, we're hustling to get that freedom. Like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to retire and not have to work until I'm 60, but that means that right now, during this time in my 30s, I have to really
Yeah.
put in time, getting these
Yeah.
things up off the ground so that I can have more time later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really strong on work-life balance. Especially since I'm so young, I'm just like, nope, I'm gonna grind, but I'm also gonna enjoy. And I think um, I I have multiple trades. I do stock. I have my own business I'm a traveling bartender at Sipping with Shay. And I
Mm-hmm.
think one of those great things like Airbnb, what I do is also I leave my business cards. So now I'm like merging my 2 businesses and getting a 2-for-1 special. And ironically, I just also had my last guest that I actually had today. They only stayed for an hour and a half, but it
Mm.
was this crew that similar to House Hunters. They were
Mm-hmm.
filming a show and they came across my apartment on Airbnb. So they decided to reach out and have me do that. And I
Oh.
definitely left all my Sipping with Shay um,
Come on.
propaganda, baby. Just because that's now camera, now that's publicity. Now who knows? Someone sees that, oh, who's Sipping with Shay? Maybe we need a traveling bartender. So I like to
Mm-hmm.
join them as much as possible. Yeah, look at me, even plugging it in here. Come on. But I think also, as I also have my salary job. And I think just really finding that balance. It's all about balance for me, while also enjoying my 20s. So I think that's a big part, and holding on
Facts.
to what my core values is and what I want to achieve. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a millionaire by 30, so I'm doing things to get there. And I just also finished my first real estate deal, so
Nice.
definitely doing some things to get us.
Yeah, come on.
Thank you,
I'm
thank
actually
you, thank
That's
you.
It's the time to do it. Don't It's
speak.
the time to do it before you have kids and stuff. I'm trying to tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Speaking of real estate, I'm working on using my VA loan to get some property so I can start rent it out and everything. So I'm trying to get like y'all. But like y'all have like a whiteboard or like a planner? Do y'all use any of that?
Mm-mm.
No, all in your
I have
head.
a calendar. I have a calendar that my husband and I, we share the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, right now it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's okay.
So it's not overwhelming right now.
Not yet. I mean, there are days. There are some times
Mm-hmm.
where it's like I feel like every part is getting like there's a, a problem and we have to solve it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a water issue in this place, and then there's this happening in the Airbnb, and then one of the cars on Toro, y'all, got stolen, and then we found
Oof.
it again. And so and
Yeah.
so,
Goddamn.
like sometimes the thing is that like what people don't understand is when you do have multiple streams, like Sheila was saying, she has multiple streams, you have multiple streams. When we have multiple streams, you also have multiple like problems. Like there's different problems that you
Mm-hmm.
are putting
Definitely.
out. And
Mm-hmm.
so you just have to always be like just ready to handle those issues as well. And I think that's what people need to know. Like it's good, it's great. I'm seeing a lot more Black people really going for it earlier. And I think that's awesome. Like that's when you want to do it earlier, when you have the stamina to do it, because there
Right.
are things that pop off. So
Mm-hmm.
I agree with
Definitely. And the thing is, like, we're all in like grind mode and like in these different sources of income and like streams of income, whatever. And like my main goal is like I want to have as many streams of income, but I also want to narrow it down to where like I'm only thinking about two or three of them.
I normally use Postits. Postits are like my best friend because it just like I place it on my computer and I have my to-do list for the day.
Mhm.
And it really just keeps me kind of structural on what I need to accomplish, whether that is work or like something that I enjoy. So, I have a video coming out soon that I do in sign language because I'm fluent in sign language.
Mm,
So that's going to be debuting soon in sign language. So, like, doing
nice.
things that also fill your bucket, like that's so important. Again, that balance, very big on balance.
Yeah. You guys have any interesting stories for like any of your stays?
Lots.
You're right.
Let's hear like the one of
Lots of
your let's hear like
stories.
one of your best ones.
I have a new rule.
Okay, go on.
You can't use the tub anymore. You can't fill up the tub.
What?
Yeah, because someone over flooded the tub,
Oh,
and the apartment is on the fifth floor. So
not the
the apartments underneath but water damaged. And
ooh.
so one of
You
my
had to
new
pay for
rules is
that.
please don't. Well, Airbnb had to pay for it.
Oh, for real? Oh, snap. Okay.
Airbnb had to pay for it. It was negligence on their end. You went to sleep
Mm-hmm.
with the water running.
Yeah,
Um, but so
that's
that's a new
crazy.
rule, and I didn't even know people were taking baths in other people's tubs. Like I just didn't
That's
even
wild.
think that would be a thing. So like I didn't think that would be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, for me, I'm not taking a bath in nobody's bathtub, but like, okay. So now that's like a new rule. Like, please don't take a bath. Just use the shower.
That's crazy, y'all.
Mm-mm-mm. I think this one, it was early on, so I might take some blame for it. The apartment wasn't as tip top as it is now. Being novice and all, but I had a guest who. So one of the biggest things. Okay, my Airbnb is in Brooklyn. So what I tell guests is I can't control the outside environment. What you're rating me on is what the apartment is and the inside environment. So, outside, definitely there was people hanging outside. It's New York, that's part of just the image. And I had a guest that just was not for it. She called me, left me a voicemail cussing me out. That was one thing when I said Airbnb, we got to do something about this number. But because she cussed me out, I got to keep her money, even though the apartment probably was not up to par. So she should have got her money back, but because she was cussing me out, I used that to keep the money. But yeah.
Mm, that's crazy.
Yeah, because disrespect is not needed. Like, regardless.
Coming back to your tub story reminds me of before I sold my condo, whatever, they did the inspection and everything, and like everything was good until like like a week before we closed, and it's something that inspector can't see because I guess the pipe under the tub was messed up, whatever, and the people under me started getting water in their apartment, whatever. But it's a good thing that my bathroom went to their bathroom, so basically, like the water just went into their whatever. But like, I had to pay for all those damages before closing, so that was like one of those last minute expenses that sucked. And California is expensive, so I hate. I'm glad I got out of there.
Everybody's leaving California, I feel.
Yes, please. If you're in California, get out. Nah. Nah, it's just expensive, and like it's like expensive Florida that has like no mosquito. They don't have mosquitoes in California that I know of. I never came across them, but like it's definitely more drier than Florida. But
I feel like
it's
it's also
expensive.
overpopulated. Yeah, expensive and overpopulated.
Hmm. The weather's cool,
Well,
but you
they're
can get that
messing
somewhere
up. They're
else.
messing up Houston's real estate market because all of like an influx of people from California moving into Houston.
Hmm.
And it's like because they have the big tech companies happening in Houston now and the energy companies, and it's
Yeah.
messing up rent. And y'all messing up rent. Rent is going up in Houston.
Are
It's
you
messing
are
up
you
these numbers.
planning? Are you planning on selling the place if it gets bad, or like and moving to a different location, or like have you ever thought about that?
So, my places in Houston, I don't own.
Hmm.
I'm renting them, so
Oh,
I
so
don't own them.
okay. That was actually what I was going
Yeah.
to ask as well, because like I know some people use their business name with an LLC and
Hmm.
like sublet an apartment and then they rent it out for Airbnb. Do you do it that way, or like what's your avenue?
So that's dangerous. So there's a danger to that, right? Because people think like I'm just gonna put it in a corporate lease and then I can Airbnb it. And it's like
Hmm.
you can, but that's still illegal.
Hmm.
The only way that it's legal is if the property manager or the landlord knows that that's what you're doing, and there's an agreement, an
Hmm.
addendum, or a memorandum that has been signed by both of
Hmm.
you stating that that is what you're doing, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And so, again, going back to like people really like teaching people false doctrine about Airbnb, like get your LLC. You don't got good credit, get your LLC,
Hmm.
then get a corporate lease, and then it's like what you're telling people to like. That's fraud. You know what I mean? Like that. Don't do that because then you can really like mess somebody's situation up. Like now you're getting evicted, and
Yeah.
like now what? Right? What are you gonna do with all that furniture?
So how do
So
you? Oh, go ahead.
you pitch it, right? You pitch it. And just to let you know, I'm gonna put my plug in like Sheila did. I do teach this. You can go to www.infinitelypaid.com. I teach classes on rental arbitrage and how to get property owners to say yes to you getting a property with them knowing that you're going to Airbnb it, right? Because
Okay.
some people will say yes to you. You just have to let them know. And if they say no, keep it moving. There's like 1,000 other
Do you
apartment
charge
units.
for that? You charge for that class?
Oh, do I charge? So I have a free masterclass, which is just
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
masterclass you can hear. But then I do a 4-week passive income challenge where you can basically get started with Airbnb and Toro, and that one I do charge
I know
because
that's
Okay.
I'm walking you through this.
I was actually gonna ask, like, would you mind giving like a promo code, I guess, for this podcast to people that's listening?
Yeah, paid. PAID. If you use paid, you can get
Uh-huh.
$100 off of
Ooh,
your 4-week passive income.
all right.
nice. Thank you. Thank you. You hear that, listeners? Yeah, I got a discount. I know Black people love discounts. But yeah, yeah, we love
But
Wisconsin is pretty fun.
there's definitely ways to get people to say yes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely private landlords who are willing to say yes. There's people out here that will be willing to work with you if you're honest. It's just most of the time people don't want to be honest. And
Mm.
so I believe like in honesty and I let them know like, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm going to put it under my business name, but within my business, this is what I want to do. I want to put it on these short-term rental platforms. Or would you be okay with that? Or is that something you would consider? And once you're like up front, what usually happens is they
Mm-hmm.
want to know more about who you are, what kind of business you're running, and they'll consider it. If you sit me down, well, let's talk more about it. Like, I know I got you, right?
Yeah.
Because if it was a no, it was a no. Like, there's nothing else. I'm not going to sit here and like chase you now, right? Like, it's a no. But
Right.
if you say like, hey, can you come in? Let's talk about it a little bit more. Then I know that there's a possibility for me to win you over. And you're going to get your rent on time. Usually people who do Airbnbs, like we don't want to mess up our income, right? Like Sheila's not trying to mess up your income. You're going to make sure that your guests keep your property in tip top shape. And so that's going to be better than someone who possibly is a long-term tenant who can trash your place or not keep it, well maintained. And so there are perks to doing it. I just think sometimes people are trying to get it in like forcing it, like just doing it. Like, I saw this one TikTok video that went viral. The girl was like, check out, if you want to get into Airbnb, check out your video. And then first see if there's any security guards outside. If there's no security guards outside, then you, hey, what? Like, girl, you cannot tell people this stuff because people will go and do it. You got to tell people like, hey, be honest. Just let them know what you're trying to do. If they say no to you putting in your corporate name because it's an entity, they still might let you do it under your own name and have an addendum saying that they're going to allow you to sublease it.
Right, because then it really boils down to taxes and stuff on their end as well. So,
my last question I was gonna ask is what is you guys on angle with like hosting? Is this like something that you want to do for like long term, but like forever, or like pass it down, or like what do you guys see yourself with doing this long term?
I think for myself, I think at this property, like I think I actually plan on moving within the next year. So definitely, and I think it's going to change. And like I said, New York City, there's a lot of protocols that you adhere to. But I am looking to buying property in Puerto Rico and doing Airbnb out there. So potentially.
To be honest with you, I go back and forth every single month, depending on how my month goes. Depending on how my month goes, I've been going back and forth. My goal is to get at least 5 Airbnbs. And once I get 5, like I'll be good with just trying to like just keep those going. I haven't really made money off my Airbnb, like to be honest with you, because I've just been dumping my profits into like getting another unit and then getting that unit going and then using that to then get another unit, right? So I haven't really like seen my profit. And like the Toro game, I know we're talking about Airbnb, but the Toro game to me is less headache, right? Like you're swapping out your headache, and you're able to see like more of a profit margin because your car note or your lease terms are a lot lower than a rent, right? Because some of these properties that I'm renting, so I have to pay my rent, I have to pay my utilities, I have to pay all of these things before I see my profit. One of my properties I own, right? So I get 100% of that profit. But so I just go back and forth. I don't know. I think in a couple months.
Yeah. We'll talk about the Turo on another episode. I'm gonna ask you if you have time to do another episode to talk about the Turo. Let's see if I can get some other people that do Turo, and we could talk about that too. Because I know with Turo, it really didn't give me a big profit as Airbnb, but I feel like it varies because like I know certain states or like basically like your credit score, how big your car note is, and your insurance, and then you got the maintenance and the gas and the cleaning, and like all of that stuff goes into having a car. So it was really not that big of a profit as it was with Airbnb, but we'll talk about that on another episode.
I'm gonna have to listen to I have no idea what Toro is, so I have to listen to that podcast.
It's basically Airbnb for cars. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you guys have any book recommendations before we wrap it up?
I don't know if I have a necessary like book recommendations. What I do recommend is that if you're interested in doing Airbnb and you want to know how, you can go to www.infinitelypaid.com.
I'm gonna plug that into the description for you, so everybody can click that and get there.
Really and truly, I really believe in networking. Like this right here, like I love meeting you, Sheila. I want to get to talk to you more. I love meeting you, Joseph. And really and truly, I find more in like meeting up with people who are like-minded. You're not gonna always have that in your group of family members, or if if you're the first one in your family really doing like passive income or residual income, like that still might be something new. And so it's important to like get into circles where people are doing it, because then you can be like, oh, I never a traveling bartender. Like, I don't know how to mix drinks, but that's dope. Like, so it gives you like, it keeps you like hungry. Like, it keeps you like encouraged to keep going and to keep moving forward. And so sometimes I get caught up in like watching a whole bunch of YouTube videos, that's great. But like talking to someone in the moment and really like getting to pick their brain and network with them, I feel like is invaluable. Like, that's where I have like met like some of the dopest people. That's where I have like just been like, oh, aha, I could do that. Like, I can get into this, or I can do that. Like, somebody told me like, don't just buy one property, but like buy a property with 2 doors. I'm like, oh, right. Like, now that's different, right? Because we're always thinking about like, I want to buy my dream house. And it's like, if I could do it over, I wouldn't even buy my dream house. I would have bought like a multi-unit right off the bat. So I don't know, just like being in circles with people for me.
Yeah.
Right. And I definitely don't have a book, so I'm gonna say plug my sis in, Kathy. Go to that, put in that promo code paid. But no, I think right, like just like dating, is it better to do an app or in person? I think it's like more personable where we have these moments like, this podcast and we're talking and we're hearing the real, and also the unknown and what we do know and what we want to look forward towards. And I think moments like this, like, Kathy, you, Joseph, we're bridging this network for like people that are young, older, just want to get into something that they may not have knowledge about. This is exactly where you need to go. Books, not really my forte, but definitely hearing podcasts or doing things like this, which is like the new kind of initiative where we're moving towards. So we're in a great place doing things like this to get the word out. And yeah, I'm huge on networking. Like I said, I'm extroverted, not introverted. I'm not Joseph, but I'm very extroverted. So I enjoy the social aspect that comes with it. And then you get to see personalities, you get to feel people, you get to read people. And you're like, oh, perfect. You're definitely someone that I want to learn from, I want to grow from, and experience whatever I can, because we're all trying to get the bag. Period.
That's it.
All right, let me clear that up. All right, I'm not really an introvert. I'm more of a I'm an ambivert. You ever heard of that? Ambivert?
Yeah, no,
like,
this sounds like, made up.
No, it's ambivert. So like, I'm an extrovert when I want to, like when it, like I want to say when it benefits me, but like when it's like two people like comfortable with, or like I'm an introvert most of the time because I like to observe and everything. So that's just me. I'm half and half, but yeah, I'm doing this podcast for basically networking reasons, because like I was telling Sheila before you came in. I don't think he was in here at the time, but there's always something new to learn, and like people come here, they can listen to what we're talking about and be like, yeah, I want to do that, or I don't want to do that, and like it saves them time. They just move on to the next episode, find out what they want to do, and it just helps everybody in the long run. So this networking, I appreciate you guys for being here, because I know Sheila, you said you put your kids to sleep. Not Sheila, sorry, mix it up. Kathy, damn.
She's like, don't speak that over me yet.
Hey, I'm gonna edit this part out, but
good stuff. That's the good stuff.
No, Kathy, you put your kids to sleep, and like you said, your time is very lucrative, like very tight, and you was able to find time to be here, so I appreciate that. And Sheila, you got like a million side hustles, so the fact that you're able to be here with me, definitely I appreciate you both. So before we wrap it up, I want you guys to let the listeners know how to find you though on social media.
Great. You all can find me at Sippin with Shay, SIPPINWITH, and Shay like shea butter, SHEA.
Okay.
And for me, you can find me at Infinitely Paid. That's a declaration. Okay, I'm trying to be infinitely paid. That's a declaration. But yes, yeah, infinitely paid. I just really and truly, that's my business page. I just started like trying to open up my personal page, but I haven't gotten there yet. I might be an introvert like you, Joseph, and not really know it. I can be very private about my personal life.
Uh-huh.
But I'm trying. My business partner is trying to get me out, and it's not. I have a business partner with Infinitely Paid, and she's like, "You need to open up your page. You need to do more reels." And I'm like, "Girl, that's just."
It'll come. But timing is everything. Like when you feel the time is right, you'll do it, and things will flow as it should. And like you got your website. That's your one-stop shop. Whenever anybody asks how to find you, blah blah blah. Your website, everything is centralized there, and it makes everything easier for you. So I got everything on my website. I just don't tell people my website like that. Like you just infinitely pay. But like I tell people my Instagram because it got the link to all my other things, so I just feel like it's easier there. And yeah. But
well, thank you, Joseph.
Yes.
Thank you. Cause this was definitely I learned a lot. I learned a couple things on here. And I did Airbnb before, so like if I try to do it again, I definitely picked up some tips and learned something new. Appreciate you guys for teaching me and the listeners.
Yay. I know we are listening. But yes, nice meeting you, Kathy.
Nice meeting you as well. I'm gonna send you I would love your contact information at your Instagram handle. I'll put it in the group chat.
For sure. Yeah, I'm gonna add you right now.
I'm gonna be in New York actually next month. So
okay, we could do we just had a meet and greet. Do a little meet and greet.
It'll be another meet and greet. Look at Joseph. You see Joseph? Y'all.
I'm gonna talk to y'all later. But yeah, thanks for being here again, and good night to y'all.
Good night. Enjoy the weekend.
You too. That about wraps it up. I just want to thank anybody else who's still listening. Thank you for still listening. Hope you learned something. Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe on YouTube, and enjoy this tune by my boy Sad B. Until next time, peace.
Way up, baby girl, way up. I'm all the way up. I'm way up. I can lay up and get this paper. Fuck a hater, cause I'm way up. I can lay up and get this paper. Fuck a hater,
Hey, look who it is. Who? They like, no, it really can't be. Sick of these hoes. So I'm taking vitamin C, stick them deep. For coast, yeah, I'm from the E. What in the F? You cannot see that a nigga the same OG. I get lit off the herb. Barely drinking the booze, beats I abused. They was sleeping on me, but now they cannot snooze. It was awkward, they'll tell you they love you and didn't expect for you to lose. They didn't expect for the flower to part from the concrete, then it go blue. But I done made it. Now it's time I show these niggas why I'm the greatest. Getting cake like it's my birthday, so they yelling happy belated. Niggas popping up that I never knew, and they starting to say we related. Pulling up in a foreign, me and my kids like, look mama, we done made it, and I know they hate it.
Way up, I can lay up and get this paper. Fuck a hater, cause I'm way up. I can lay up and get this paper. Fuck a hater.
Nigga, we lit. Me and the kids jump around in the crib, lavish. The only way we know to live. Told them not to hang around them niggas with no drive. Tell them to get a lift. I'm way up, like Jesus smoking on a spliff. Nigga at the end of the bench. I don't have time for the games, nigga. I prayed for this, and it's starting to manifest, man. They like, damn, is he ever gonna slow down? I'm on my grind like bad breaks. So nah, dog, not this time. I'm way up, and I know I can't sing. And they thought I wouldn't make. Why? I beat the odds. Yes, sir. Yet again. For real. And I just look at you and be like, man, it's crazy. Now I just sit back and think about what it was. Everybody that turned their back. You heard what he said.